Hi guys, and welcome back. I wanted to show you real quick before I get into it. I mean, paint is super shiny still, doesn't dye back. It's got some dirt in it, so I'll have to do a little bit of sanding. When you put that many coats on, it's expected to get a little bit of dirt. It's really not that much. Anyway, I'm gonna start putting this thing together. I've been putting it together actually for a little while now, and this is the front bumper. So I took some adhesion promoter and sprayed the plastic and then painted all this stuff with the satin black, and so it looks like new again. So I've got all that done. Put the taillights on. I repainted the mirrors. They were all faded. Repainted these things too, the outer part. So start putting these on. I've got these ready. Get these put on. All right, put these on real quick. Get this one. There you go. They're both the same. They just have a top and a bottom. Switches. Be careful. Don't tighten them up with this thing. It'll crack it. All right, that's on. The other side. All right, I decided to put this chrome on. I don't know. I'm not gonna throw it away, and so I don't know. Maybe it's on only the LXs. I don't know. So you put this in first. And you do the top first, and then you put this in first. Trying to figure out how to do it first. Rubber hammer it in place. Back out again. Gotta get this in to line up. The other one went right in. Of course, I got to show you guys in. There it goes. Gotta hammer it in evenly. Something's not right. Little thing on. Kind of like doing the other window trim, of course. All like typical Volkswagen stuff. Well, this one looks like it's going to be fun. I'll just leave you guys out of it. I'm going to have to put the ends on. Just goes in place. The other one went right in. This one looks like it's going to maybe have to be done twice. That's the way Volkswagen stuff is. You do it once, you're lucky. You do it twice, you might be fortunate enough, and then you do it 3 or 4 times, and then finally it goes together. That's usually the way it goes. Hopefully you guys can see okay. I got this light here. I was going to back it out and show you guys in the sun what it looks like, but it's just so windy today. But hopefully we'll get it out here in this video. I don't know for sure. But I'm just scratching off a few of the runs while I'm checked them today and they seem to be okay for scratching off, but it's not ready to color sand yet, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just assembling. Some people put tape on both ends. No. I can do it without it, but you can put tape on the corners. I usually don't cut them in. It just, it's just experience, it's whatever. Some guys don't need to do it. Some guys do. All you do is just scratch off the run. So if you guys are wondering, oh wow, you got a run in the paint job. Oh, okay, well, fine. It's no big deal. Scratch it down. Get it flat. This stuff is just nothing. The stuff that's in this paint job. Just scratch it down until it's all the way flat. Worst scenario is you cut through it, you just touch it up, repaint it, mask it off, spray the base and the clear. Usually I'll back mask on a line or something like that. Just touch it up. You always don't want to have to do that, but you're painting at your house, you got to do whatever you got to do to make it happen. Anyway, this will come out great. We'll take a look at it later. Just more of the same until it's nice and flat. I'll show you in a minute. Alright, as I dig deeper into the run, I'm noticing it's a little bit too soft. So I'll just wait. You got to be patient. If I'm digging into these parts right here, it's like kind of rubbery. So it's better if I wait a little longer. It's a little more crystal. Better than messing it up. We'll just wait. Come back to it another day. I'll show you some other stuff. Bodywork real quick. Got this bumper on. See if I can get the shine in there. No orange peel in that. Maybe you're wondering how this turned out, right? Oh yeah, very little wave in there. Just a little bit of color sand and buff, it'll go away. A little bit of stuff will actually go away with the color sand and buff. So yeah, that was good. And I have a giant wave down here. You can't really even see it. It's huge, but it doesn't show up. So anything below the last body line, you can cheat on a little, and it's fine. A little dippy in the roof. Paint's still really shiny. I was going to take it outside. Like I said, I may do that later. There's no dieback at all. So anyway. But still going to color sand and buff it. Alright, so the wind's dying down a little bit. So you may get some noise in the background here if you hear that. That's the wind. But yeah, some of you guys were wondering, what does it look like the day after? I got a little something on my lens. I better check it here. We're 2 days after. Let me see if I can get the angle right here. There's the sun. I mean, there's no dieback on this clear, but it's got a little bit of orange peel in it, which is nothing. It'll really sand out real easy. I'm just going to color sand like this first top edge. I might do some of the middle. Nothing below this line right here where it's going to get touched. It doesn't need it. I'll probably do the middle section and the top and the roof and hood, and I'll just stay away from all the corners. Easier, because it doesn't look that bad. There's only a couple. It's not even in there. Okay, sandy scratch. All right, so if you could see it, there's nothing. There's nothing here to see, guys. I don't know. I can't go over the entire car. But if you can see, let's get you guys about as close as you can get. There's no sanding scratch in there. I don't know if you can see that. There's nothing anywhere. So yeah, there's no sanding scratches at all. You can't see anything. I mean, you can see stuff I missed. Little chippy thing, whatever. One or two of those, the whole truck, which is really nothing. It feels really nice and smooth feeling. Yeah, there's this bodywork. You guys wondering? It's a little bit wavy, just a little bit, but again, a color sanded buff will knock that down. It'll probably take 20% off that. You won't even see it hardly. You know, I went through this thing really fast. I didn't spend a lot of time. What about this quarter back here? Might want to see that. Has the bumper on it out in the sun. That quarter, this was dented all the way up into that, through the line and everything. It's not that bad. Hardly noticeable. Like I said, once you color sand and buff it, it'll knock down a little bit of the waviness, the orange peel in it, and whatever. But yeah, it's pretty smooth. It looks good. So that's how, if you're wondering, you know, I've been spraying base coats since they had base. The first base coats were, we used to just use lacquer, and then we started putting urethane clear on lacquer. That was the first thing. Then they came out with base coat, clear coat. I think one of the first systems was RM Meracryl, and RM is the same company, parent company, as BASF owns them, who also owns Glycerit. And they had Glasso Max. It was not Glycerit. A lot of people say, well, it's Glycerit's the original paint. That's today's paint. The old one was called Glasso Max. I know, I used to use it, and then I went, man, I thought this was called Glasso Max, and I went down and I saw one of the old cans, and it said on Glasso Max. It didn't say Glycerit. So they changed the system, and they told me back when I was working in the body shop that they were going to change it, and that was when they changed the name to Glycerit. And I used Glycerit, Glasso Max back then, and there was Glasso Max was one of the base coat companies. There was RM Meracryl. That's what I used more of. I used a lot of RM Meracryl, and I sanded all my cars with 220. But with Glasso Max, it would sanding. You could see the sanding scratches in it. So with Glasso Max, I used to use 400, and then you couldn't see it. So it would just go away with 400. But with 220, you'd see it. So I've been doing these, you know, base clear a long time, and all the stuff people say now, you got to use 600. I was going, what? 600? You know, I've never used 600, and then I used it, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, my truck over there, I was using a base on that, and I got sanding scratch in it because I didn't put it on heavy, and not as heavy as I usually do. So then when I just went, oh hey, you know, this truck, the first time I did it, I didn't get any sanding scratch in it, and it's because the paint had a lot of binder. So I went, oh, let me just throw a bunch of binder in it and see how that works. It should work, because I've done it before. I just didn't do it. But you got nothing. There's absolutely no scratch in there, nothing, no sanding scratch, no signs of it anywhere. And that, so that does work, you guys. If you want to do it, there's binder a lot of places on the internet. You can get it pretty cheap. You know, I've used tons of different types of base coats and mixed them all together, and everybody says, oh, you can't mix this base coat with that base coat. You couldn't mix Glasso Max with another base coat. You couldn't do it. It was a different formulation. It smelled different. But all the base coats I've tried today, most of them I can mix together. So you could probably get away with that. You know, just saying, do it at your own risk. These are all things that I've learned, you know. So anyway, guys will say you can't do it. You can. I've done it many times. So anyway, we'll move on with some more stuff. I got this window here. assembled, and I ended up taking all the chrome out. I tried it with the chrome in there. I got this part in fine, this lower section. This rubber's in there's 3 pieces. You got the lower section, you got the upper section, and then you've got this one, the channels. And I haven't got the crank on it yet and all that. I'm tapped these out. I'm waiting for some screws for that to put the mirror on, little stuff like that, But I'll see if I can show you guys the other side. This rubber is a pain in the butt. This is the same as a Vanagon. So, and I cut this one a little short. Yeah, oh well. It's the same as a Vanagon. I was trying to push it. It's really hard to get it in that corner. So I was trying to get it in that corner really tight, and I thought I cut it too long, and I ended up cutting it too short. So I don't care. But this doesn't have the chrome on it anymore. It used to have that chrome piece all the way around. I mean, it doesn't matter because it doesn't have it in the windshield. It looks better probably without it, but I just didn't want to throw them away, and I didn't, I was like, well, now I don't care. I just ripped them out, so they're all bent. So, because I'm not going to be able to use them. I was like, nope, this isn't going to work, and you can't buy the rubber for that. So, anyway, we'll do this side. Maybe I'll show you a little bit about how to do it. It's kind of self-explanatory, but it's definitely a little different, and it's not very fun. So anyway, it's just like doing a bug. They're not very fun either. None of the beetles, the all the window rubber for doors is always a pain in the ass. It's got a one-way deal. You put it all in one way. You put the wrong piece in first, you got to take it back out. Same thing with this. So anyway, it all goes in pretty much the same as a Beetle, but it's just different, very different stuff. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how that I assemble these. Now this one here, I'm not replacing the rubber here because this rubber usually lasts a long time, and this is original German, so I'm not going to bother replacing it. It's actually in really good shape. There's some silicone in the cracks. That's fine. I can peel that out, if I want to. It's because I had these windows silicone shut because I couldn't figure out what to use for the vent wings, because the original vent wings on this one had the glass without the hole, and a lot of them, the later models, had a hole right here, and that was where the vent wing latch went. This one here was glued on, and they always broke. So I don't know what year they had that only, but what works are the 70s bug ones. So they latch like right here. I'm just going to glue it on right here, or maybe I'll get some butyl to fill in some of that gap so it's not so loose. I'm either going to do that or glue them on so they stay on permanently, and then they latch against. It works the same way as a Beetle. So again, guys, this is like the same as a Vanagon. So what I'm going to do is measure this part off. I'm not going to put this in. If you can see where the old one went, it went right up to about right here, and then went all the way down to here. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut that, because it's easier to do it with it out. So I'll do that first. So here's how the latch works on these. So it works in, just going to cut this little area below here a little bit so it seals, and then just use that. It works fine. So I know this is not going to go the way it's supposed to. It goes in like sideways like this. It's be right there. And you're going to twist it. Try not to take the clips off. There's little clips right here. I don't want to break them off. I think I'd have to on the other side. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to open this up. Alright, so we'll use the old caliper spreader. These things are handy. I use it for a lot of stuff. Just to open this up a little bit, so I can get it past those clips. And then this is tricky. You just have to, I'll show you. I'll tell you how you do it. There's no way I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, you see this little lip right here? You got to lip that guy over all the way along, kind of like a beetle. And then get that to go in the groove. Like right here, it's getting held up on both sides. So you got to push it in with a screwdriver and get it to go underneath that edge. And then what I do is I use a dead blow hammer. So I won't put this rubber in yet. And I'll use a dead blow hammer and kind of knock it, get it up against it. You can use your hand, whatever. But, and then just kind of lip it in. Like that's holding it right now. And then I'll go on both sides and do that off camera, and I'll bring you back in. There's no way I could show you that one. After a period of time, you'll know you got it right when you got that hole to line up there for the screw. And then this one to line up here for the rivet. Make sure you put your screw in the top first. And I think it's an M3.5, so it's a real odd size. That's typical Volkswagen 3.5s. They have a lot of those. All right, so this one here, I'll start putting in this one next. It just kind of, you just kind of shove it in. It's kind of self-explanatory. Nothing really tricky about it. Just get it into the groove. Make sure it's all the way to the top. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It has like a little edge that holds it. You'll see. I get it in really right down below too, because if it's not correctly in down below, then the window's going to hang up. Yeah, just fix that with some baby powder and you're all done. Make sure you got some baby powder to do this, because once you get it all in here, you just coat everything with baby powder, run it up and down a few times, and use that cures it even after you wash it and everything. It's weird. It seems to get it to work. It dries up all the manufacturing goo that they put on this stuff. Makes them all sticky. Okay. Anyway, that's in, but it's still, I don't know, you'll see the little lip. You gotta play with it to get that lip to be right. Anyway, guess you'll have to figure that part out. All right, these are made for Vanagon and for Rabbit. Okay, so they're made extra long for the Rabbit 2-door, for the Vanagon, so they make them cut to fit. So yeah, you got to figure out what you need. It's just like, I just set it on here, cut it about too far, because remember I'm going to have to cut and wrap it around right here, if you can see that. There's a little spot to wrap it around. And I'll make both of them the same. And then where it goes up, it's in frame, it goes up to about right, roughly here. It's totally preference. You could, I wouldn't run it way up high. I'd run it down to about right here, because you don't want your glass goes past here and it's going to get caught on your rubber going up, so the best to have it nice and low. You look at the original one, look at that. I mean, these ones are for the right hand side, so you can kind of see where it goes to. About right there. So, and remember, it goes in the groove. It's going to be down a 1/4 inch lower than that. So, and they didn't even wrap them around on the ends or anything. So it just kind of, it was kind of hit and miss. So anyway, I'll cut these. Like I said, I use these cutters here. I'll show you. These are really cool. These Doyle cutters from Harbor Freight, man, they're super cool for stuff like this. They'll cut right through the metal and everything beautifully, nice and straight. So these are pretty handy to have. I use these for a lot of things. You can even cut, I think, small chain with it. It's really pretty good stuff. All right, this next part is a little bit tricky. You just have to get underneath here. There's a little clip. There's 3 clips on each side. Lift out the clip. Push the rubber down. Make sure it's lipped over. Push it down a little more. Lift out this clip. Get them started, then I'll just kind of lip this end over. Make sure it's all the way down and then push it some more. And you got both sides to do. So they're both exactly the same. This one goes, I have to lift this over a little more down here so it'll be in the right place. Get it underneath here. Sometimes you can just push it in like I just did there. Doesn't always do it though. Almost time you gotta lift out that little clip. The other side's a little trickier. You have less space. All right, that's one down. Just got to do the other side. Got the inside done. I got to get the outside on. I'll start it, but the rest of it I'm going to do off camera because it's very slow going. Doing the inside one or doing the opposite side, whatever one you did. And then trying to get it behind here is always fun. Trying to pry this thing over. Without tweaking it. Anyway, I think you got the idea. Alright, so if you did it right, you got this thing above here and kind of those butt together. You can put a little silicone on that if you want. I use Mega Black for that, and that'll help get that right. And then if you did it right, you're going to have both of these exactly even, because if they're off, you're going to have to cut them, pull it back and cut it so that they're even, because the next one just butts in there. It's the way it works. It's really weird. And like I said, I had to pull the chrome off of here because it worked on the bottom ones, but the side, if you look at the chrome versus the regular, here's the chrome Let me get this here. So original was chrome, right? See how that little lip is? It's a little bit wider on the one side. I don't know if you can even see it, but it's different. And it just didn't work. You can see on the one on this side right here, it's a little wider and it has a little T to it. Let's get it up close. A little T end. It's a little wider right there. That little bit matters. So anyway, didn't work. Alright, so these ones just push in, I guess. Nothing just happens. You gotta push it, plant the groove. Take a screwdriver, work this little lip underneath, push it a little bit in the corner maybe. Don't push too hard on that, you'll find out why. Just finesse her in. What I did is I just take this right up here and bend it once I get it up here to get that corner, and hopefully she finds it okay. Yeah. It's a little slow going. Well, I just push it all back out, all the way down. Start over again. It might take you a half an hour. They suck. Okay, I'm not going to do this on camera. It's just going to take me way too long. So anyway, push all that in, then you got to cut to fit. And I cut mine short on the other side over there, so yeah, plan on that maybe happening too. All right, guys, that's it for that portion. Anyway, that turned out pretty good. So I didn't cut it too short. You have to cut it exactly in the right spot. If you cut it too far over, like some of the early ones, you could kind of shove it over more. But if you don't get it all the way in this corner and then you cut it here, you're screwed. You're gonna end up with a gap, but whatever. You know, it's gonna whistle anyway, probably. These weren't exactly the best made non-whistling things. Even for the Vanagons, it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same stuff. It's just different lengths. So anyway, if you're wondering, it's the same. I wanted to tell you guys about this because in case you're trying to look for the super glue to do your rearview mirror with, maybe you have one that's stuck on the glass, like here. You know, they're stuck on the glass. I ordered one of those, or I bought one of those Permatex 3M or whatever, Permatex glue kits. You know, you clean glass and put it on. And I was trying to put these on. Now these are a little harder than those, right? This one here just glues right to the glass. This little tab here and this little tab here, and that holds the whole vent wing in place. So I tried the Permatex stuff and I was totally unsuccessful with it. I cleaned the glass really good. I degreased it. I did everything. They used a little pad they showed there. I Scotch sprayed the glass a bit to kind of give it a little stuff, and one of these held out of 4, so I did both sides, and this sucker's on there. Okay, now not with those. I got one of those 3Ms to stick, or the Permatex. And the price, of course, went up on those things too, so that didn't help, you know, $5 or something, $6 for one. So, if you're looking for something better, check the link in the description. I used this Chinese glue. It's because there are glues that are professional grade, and this is a professional grade glue, Again, this is holding on there. I can't, it's on there. The bottom of this one is on with Permatex, or the, yeah, Permatex. And this is 100% glued on. There's no, that's just a crappy design, but that's how it is. And if you're looking to do your mirror and you want glue to do more than one use, because sometimes you put it on and you know it doesn't work the first time, and then you got to go down and spend another $5. This G50 stuff right here from Amazon, I got this on Amazon. I mean, it worked. Now I've gotten professional super glues before, and maybe that's what this is. It's just because it says on it, you know, I was a little leery. I was ready to send it back if it didn't work, right? This stuff here, it says it's for multi-use, you know, wood, rubber, all kinds of stuff. But I thought, well, from a rearview mirror, maybe it needs to be better than that. But man, this stuff worked 100%. So if you're looking for something to glue glass with, this stuff, for the price, you can't, $10 for one of these. This stuff works amazing. I've had, like I said, I've had professional line super glues I've gotten before, and I ran out of that, and trying to get that same product was really hard to get. This stuff here is amazing super glue. I mean, if you want something that's a really strong super glue, try this stuff. I'll talk to you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Alright, so I got the grill. Had to do a little repair here. There's some cracks and a little piece missing, so I just shoved some foil tape in there and put a couple of coats of J&B weld on it. Then I'll sand it. And the J&B weld, if you have it sanded in the deep crevices and all that, and it's all got sanded and rough, filler will actually stick to it, so you can finish that out with filler if you want. Or just keep using J&B weld. It sands kind of like Bondo. Finish those cracks out there. One over here. I guess that'll do it. There's one right here. I probably should have fixed it, but I don't know. Then I'll paint this guy black again. Kind of freshening it up a little bit. Those grills there are super hard to find. Square headlights, I mean. Okay. The doors. So if you look here, inside here, one of the things you do on every Volkswagen door is I took a power washer and blew all this out here, cleaned everything out of the bottom of the door. There's a little bit of rust there, and I put a Rust-Oleum product on there. This one I didn't really, it wasn't that bad, so I just put the regular Rust-Oleum paint and primer stuff. That works good. I mean, you could use the heavy rusted metal primer. I do that sometimes if I think it's more active rust. This one didn't seem to be that active. But I always do that at every Volkswagen. Clean those up, paint them. So the next thing I'm going to do is, I've got this thing rolling up and down. I got silicone on the track holding it up. I don't think it's dry yet because I have a lot of it on there to hold this thing on the window. Rolling it up and down a couple times, that thing just popped out of there because it was old, so I just used silicone. And I don't really want to bring it down to show you because it's it takes a couple days, a day for that to dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some butyl around here. Okay, then I'm going to put a nice piece of visqueen over this and then cut out for the door handles the way it was originally. And the reason I do that is it protects water from getting on the back side of the door panel. If those door panels get wet, you'll notice they get all warped. So I've already set them out in the sun. Put them out in the sun, put heavy stuff, get them wet, put them out in the sun, put heavy stuff on them. That'll straighten them out. I don't know how straight they are, but they're going to be all right. I mean, I could really get them perfect if I wanted to. Just let them set out there even longer, and more water, more weight. Let them set as long as possible. I'm going to replace all these. These are so dry rotted, they're just no good. Same thing over here. And you can see there's dirt here a little bit, but it's fine. It was all clean below that. So I used power washer, cleaned it out, get all the holes opened up, so the water drains. And then use a Rust-Oleum product, because the Rust-Oleum has a rust converter in it. It doesn't just have rust inhibitor, it has a really strong one in it. So yeah, it lasts a lot longer. You could use POR 15, but I mean that's got a little bit more stuff in it. But anything that has rust, it's not just a rust inhibitor, it's a rust converter, you know, like the acid that's in there. They put that in there. You can smell the product. It smells a little different. That's what that is. That smell that you're smelling is the rust converter that's in Rust-Oleum. That's what, you know, it works. So anyway, any of the Rust-Oleum products work fine. So I did the bottoms. Gonna do the visqueen on here. We'll talk to you a little bit later. All right, I'm just gonna hose this sucker down with some primer paint, low pressure, not looking for metallics to be even or any of that stuff. So just gonna do that real quick and just do it right here. Fine. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, because sometimes it looks worse in the camera. In person it looks really close, but you can see the shadow. I did it right to the shadow, so it's a totally different color, but that's fine. It'll look great with the you know, driving down the road, you're not gonna know. And somebody's gonna throw stuff back here probably and use it as a truck somewhat. So anyway, but it makes it look a whole lot better. You can see this material buries the scratches and stuff pretty good. So that's why I wanted to use it. Anyway, good enough for now. We'll talk to you guys a little later. Alright guys, I went ahead and put the grill in. Let's take a look around. Let's see, I'm gonna have to get this camera in the sun maybe. Hopefully it doesn't come out kind of weird for you guys. But yeah, I got the grill on. Makes it look a whole lot different with that. Had to do some repairs to it. This is a 1980. I think it's only 1980 only grill. So they're not easy to find. There was a lot of Rabbits, but most of them are extinct. And there was a company that made the aftermarket grill. I couldn't find one anywhere last time I was looking for it. And so it did make it for a while. I had one brand new I put on the truck, and a dog ran up front of me at 4 o'clock in the morning. Unfortunately, I couldn't do anything. Poor dog. Plus my grill got wrecked. So yeah, well, your input guys. What do you guys think it's worth? I don't know. What is one of these things worth? Now remember, this has the 1.9 liter. It does not have the 1.6. Totally different driving vehicle. Drives way better. You drive a 1.6 and they are just slow as molasses. Has no power. This has a turbo 1.9. Still gets the 50 miles a gallon that the other truck got, the other engine, and it drives a whole lot better. Working air conditioning. I don't think I've ever seen one with working air conditioning. Condition obviously is pretty nice. When I get done polishing it, this is going to get polished. It's getting a new dash. The seats are in great shape. You just need to be, I'm going to clean those. All this is going to get messed. The only thing I can't do anything about is this thing here. I don't know. I could put a coat of fiberglass over it maybe. Paint it. I'm not sure. That's possible. I might do that. I don't know. But I don't know. It just depends on what it's worth, really. I mean, what is it worth? I don't know. I have no idea. I looked at the Samba. I saw one that was restored. Or it wasn't restored. It was original. All original. And it went on Bring a Trailer for 32 or 35,000. But I don't know. I'm not saying that this is worth that, but this thing is, it was all original. Everybody goes, whoa, it's all original. That's great. It's like, dude, have you ever drove one of these things all original? Have you ever driven one all original? They didn't drive great at all original. You had to do a bunch of mods to them to make them work. And this has already got all the mods done. Then it was an 81. So this is an 80. More rare, but also, again, the wiring's all been done. But, it was a problem car in 1980. 81, they got a General Motors fuel block. If you didn't know, the fuse block to fix all the Volkswagen issues, Volkswagen teamed up with General Motors to get the fuse block from them. It actually, I think it has a General Motors part number and everything. I was talking to Dale about it. Dale was he was a parts manager for Volkswagen for, I don't know, 30 years. So he went all over the place as a parts manager. So he used to know part numbers, all the part numbers all by heart, because back then we didn't have computers. So he doesn't remember them now. He has the Carmen Gia over here. So anyway, but yeah, I got the custom bumper on. The bumper on these things were ugly as sin. I think the original bumper. So I got this thing that's all tucked. And if you notice, the front bumper, if you notice, the original one stuck way out. They look weird. This one's, I tucked it. All you got to do is drill a hole. They had these shock absorber things on the bumpers. You just drill a hole in them, and they go, all the air comes, all the shock stuff comes out of them, and you push it in and put a seat metal screw in it. We did that years ago on all these to custom them out a little bit, make them look a little bit better. Makes the front end look nice and more like it should. It looked really weird with the bumper way out there. So, you know, yeah, there's a couple mods done to it. Some people say, oh, well, it's not original anymore. It's like, dude, you obviously, when you own one, you work on these things. When we used to work on these at the shop, these things were a complete nightmare when they were stock. You had to do a bunch of modifications to make them really, it was so slow. I mean, it had, the original ones had the mechanical lifters. You ever adjusted the valves on one of these? Total pain in the ass. Total pain in the ass. You don't want that engine. The original engine that comes in these was just, it had issues. I mean, the 1980 especially had the four corners of the block where the castings were too thin, and when they got hot, they would crack the castings. So the 1.9 is a huge upgrade, and they're not cheap to buy. So anyway, I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not trying to get everybody to say, oh, it's worth $1 million. I just don't know what it's worth. I have no idea. I looked on the Samba, don't see anything like it. Seen a couple, I mean, a few years back, and they're gone. So I don't know. Tell me what it's worth. Be fun to see in the comments. There's no right or wrong answer. Just your input, you know, whatever that is. So I know it's going to get $5 grand. Right. Yeah, the motor costs that much. Come on, guys. A friend of mine said, hey, dude, before I restore it, I'll give you $3,500. And I'm like, no, thank you. He's like, no, man, there's projects for $35,000. I said, dude, that's a project with a 1.6 engine. The engine costs for one of these is close to $3 grand with a turbo on it, and then 5-speed, the trans, it's worth over $4,000 just for the motor and trans. So no, I won't sell the truck for $3,500, you know. So anyway, but yeah, anyway, but you know, I was like, that's, you know, that's the kind of people that are out there. You know, they don't know what they're looking for. They think, oh, well, original's better. You know, good luck with that. Find one, get one original, drive it for 6 months, and go, oh wow, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. You know, anyway, money's spent, money's gone. Later. Anyway, type of your thoughts. We're still going to do the interior. We're going to do cut and buff on this thing. And so I'm going to do that. I figured I'll do the cut and buff by itself in a video. I'll do the interior. I'll finish the interior. I'm waiting. Clips I got weren't right, so I had to get some others. And I'm going to do one video just for the tailgate. And a couple issues with the tailgate. One is it's bowed on this side, which, you know, if that was the only issue, I wouldn't even worry about it. And originally when I got the truck, it had a dent all the way from right here through the logo over to here. I think it was like that. And I just kind of reached in there and pushed it out. So if you looked on the Samba, one of my friends goes, oh, those tailgates are like $1,500. I was like, what? No way. There's no way in hell I'd spend $1,500 on a tailgate for this thing. So anyway, what I think I'm going to do coming up is I'm going to cut, looks like it was pinched right here where they pinch welded it. So I got to cut away from that. It's double metal right here. So I'm going to cut like right along this edge, right along here, through this little guy here, and then maybe I'll go up into that. I'm hoping I'm doing the right thing. I won't know until I get it off. And I'll cut all the way along here, along here. I want to cut near the edge so that it won't, whenever you weld in a piece, it's going to shrink. So, and if that shrink, if it has a bunch of stress, stuff like this to hold it from causing issues, it won't really be a problem. If it's right near, if I put my seam right near the edge, like if you go and cut through it straight through a straight flat panel, you have a lot more problems. So I figured if I cut here, then I can straighten this part out a bit. I'm not going to get it like perfect on this end, but I'm going to straighten out this side. Then I can get in here and really planish out some of that. It's really got a big dip in there, so I can planish it out, and I'll get I'll probably get a couple heat shrinks in there, you know, stuff like that to get it to come out. Because I remember I had pins on here and I got it this far and it wouldn't oil can out, so I could shrink it and bring it back. So I used like stuff down in the holes here. Took the sides off here and went in the holes with the long rods. I have these paintless dent tools here. You can get in there and push them out. But it's really, I mean, think about that. That's all the way in. I mean, so, and on both sides, it's kinked right in the middle. It's just really hard to work on. So I use pins and I use these, and I got it where it's at, where it was good for a daily driver, you know, just for used, you know, like a work truck. But I'm going to try and take it up to, you know, not a show truck, but just something that looks really nice. So, I mean, as nice as the rest of it is, there's, you know, once this thing's polished, this thing's going to look like almost like a show paint job, really. Not, you know, other than a few waves, the wave in the roof and a couple waves of body work or whatever, but it's really not that bad. It's going to be really, really nice as far as that goes. And then it's got new tires on it too. So, I mean, they're new old stock tires. So I don't know what that means. But anyway, and I got to get all the paint off of them. All I do on that is I'll just paint them. People go, oh my God, it won't stay on there. It's like, I've done that for 30 years. I've painted tires. The entire tire, I've painted them with semi-flat black or satin black. And they looked perfect until they were completely worn out. So anyway, if you want to comment that doesn't work, go for it. So yeah, well, I'll just a video on just this thing here. And I thought this will be like a metalwork video. So it'll be kind of cool. And then you'll see how I weld that back in. And just going to skin it on the outside, skin it back on. And it's better than trying to take it apart here at the seams. It'll be a mess if I try to do that. It's easier to just cut a hole in it, and then I'll have some structure there to hold it together. If I just skinned it, if I try to skin it off and then straighten it, skin it back on, it's going to be too wobbly. If you've done this before, you know what I mean. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys a bit later. That's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later, and hope you enjoyed the content and the rest of this build. And then we're going to get back into doing our normal stuff. So we're going to do I think we're going to do some stuff with the oval. We're going to, I have some other things that may come up in the middle of this even, I don't know. But I've got some stuff I need to do right now, you know. Some more normal repairs on my other cars I got to do. So these Volkswagens kind of get in the way of those things sometimes. I've got lots of big repairs to do, and I don't have time to do them. So anyway, that's it for this, guys. I'll talk to you next one. Please like and subscribe.